But he was like, so how much of your flavor perception is based on the color,
Oh,
right?
I think I would think it's a ton.
Strawberry, right, not lemon. Right. It's pink here, and then it's lemon here.
Ever see people that can have like an M&M or peanut M&M in their mouth?
See what color?
And tell you what color it has.
See that in there, guys. We did a starburst, regular starburst without looking. And you could always tell the red, but people would get the orange and yellow confused. It was really interesting. So I think we really do say, oh, this is yellow, it's lemon, oh, this is orange. Yeah. I thought no way would get confused, but it was surprising. I guessed and got it right, made it sound like I could totally tell, but I didn't know. I was just guessing. I think they might be talking about Little League football. I think there's issues with Jets, Youth League, and I think that's, you know, that's why the ladies here. Yeah, yeah. So, but I think.
What was your name? Peter. I'll try. I'm gonna go for the breakfast there.
Yeah, there's that part I didn't know. I've heard some other kind of things. Ready? Lisa, ready?
Good evening, everybody. Appreciate everybody coming to our May 6th South Ogden City Council meeting. Appreciate everyone's attendance. Entertain a motion that we begin.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll start with a moment of silence. Please join us in that, after which Councilmember Smythe will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. A moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Please stand. Thank you.
Thank you. First item on the agenda now, the next item is public comment. Might anybody come and address the mayor, council, and staff and tell us what's on your mind? Just give us your name and what's on your mind there, good sir.
Yeah, my name is Mike Lewis. I'm one of the local youth football coaches. I've been coaching kids that are currently in 7th grade for the last 4 years. And one of the things that we're trying to do, me along with other of the coaches in South Ogden and a lot of the parents, we're trying to make a push into the youth conference. And so really we're just looking for some more support from the city. We've tried reaching out to Juliana, and she has refused to have any real conversation about this, and has resorted to basically calling us disloyal to the community and sent out public emails calling us such. There's a few reasons why we think it's important for us to go to the youth conference. For those of you who don't know, South Ogden City has typically been part of the WFFL, which is organized by city boundaries. The youth conference is an alternative football league. It's organized by high school boundaries. So what this allows us to do is have all the kids that are going to be going up to play at Bonneville High, playing together at an earlier age. The benefits to the kids is that the youth league is vastly superior as far as keeping levels of competition even. Its stated goal is for every football game to be within a touchdown or less. Obviously, not every game is a touchdown or less, but that's their stated goal. They want every game to be competitive, for kids to consistently be playing the same skill level. That's important for a development standpoint and for a safety standpoint. From my perspective, having coached in the WFFL for 3 years, the WFFL has proved that it doesn't care about competitive equality among teams. It's fine letting teams that are stacked with quality players, with high quality players, playing against teams with developmental players and letting them run up the score and hurt them. So that's the biggest benefit for the kids, is that they get to play even level competition. I ended up having to coach youth league last year by necessity because we didn't have enough kids, and some spat prevented us from combining with Washington Terrace like we normally did. I don't know all that happened there, but we didn't. We ended up playing youth league, and I saw much more development out of my players last year because we were consistently in competitive games than all the years previously. It was great to see that. It will also benefit the high school because by having all these kids play together from an earlier age, there's no rivalry to overcome, right? These kids right now are playing as rivals for the first several years of their football career. They get to Bonneville, and now all of a sudden they're supposed to be friends and teammates, and that takes some time for them to overcome. So that holds them back. Again, the more opportunity for player development will also help the high school program. We've worked with the athletic director and the new, both Jance and the new high school coach over there. They're all on board. They agree that U Conference is what our community should be doing. And the benefit to the city is this takes the load off the rec department. Ute League is completely parent-driven. It's volunteer-driven. So you'd have parents who care about the kids, who care about the program and building the football in the community, taking the initiative on this. Through my recruiting efforts and some of the other parents' recruiting efforts, we've already almost doubled the number of kids in my age group that I'm coaching that are planning on playing football this year. So having that initiative with the parents and other people who are dedicated to the program is huge. I know Juliana, I'm not trying to knock on her. Juliana does a great job overall with the rec department, but she has a ton on her plate with all the different sports programs and stuff she's doing. This would take that off of her plate. And from my understanding, I could be wrong in this, right now the football program is a net loss for the city. They put more money into it than they get in registration fees and stuff. Going through the U Conference can make it actually earn some money for the city, where the Ute League will pay to rent the practice fields and or game fields, so it can actually be a source of generating some revenue for the city. The biggest challenge and the biggest knock on the Ute League is the cost. It costs significantly more. It's about a little under $400 a kid to play. And that's not insignificant for some of the members of our community, especially here in South Ogden and over in the Terrace. We have already started fundraising efforts, and the Ute League itself also has scholarship programs for those kids who need it. The Ute Conference is very dedicated and cares very much about giving every kid who wants the opportunity to play. So the biggest ask we have as we're trying to make this push is just to have some support to be able to make sure that we can use the fields for practice when the season comes around, and yeah, being able to work with it. As far as the competition I mentioned earlier, I've got statistics, if you'd like to talk to statistics to back up how much better the Ute Conference is at creating even games and matchups. But yeah, that's the biggest ask we have, is just to get some support from the city as we're trying to do this, which we strongly believe is in the best interest of the kids, of our football youth in the community.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for explaining that. We'll have to discuss that at a future meeting and talk to our rec people, their side of things. I'll ask one question. When would this start? When would you need the use of the fields? Like, when do these kind of decisions need to be made?
So the first day that we're able to have practice is July 25th.
Okay.
That would be the first day that we're able to have practice.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks for coming. Appreciate that. Anybody else like to address the council? We're not on Facebook Live tonight. We're on YouTube, so people are not able to comment online, so there will be no online public comment tonight. Okay. Anybody else in here? Okay. Thank you. Item 4 is our consent agenda. There's the approval of our April 15th, 2025 council minutes. Also, from the City Council needed advice and consent for the appointment of Brittany Rocha to the Planning Commission. And then we also need to set a date for a public hearing for August 5th, 2025, for the city to go through truth and taxation process and to receive and consider comments on the fiscal year 2026 budget. First of all, any changes to the minutes?
Yes, I
Please.
had one comment. On line 88, page 39 of the packet, it's the second page of the minutes. It says that the minutes were, Councilmember Howard so moved, Councilmember Howe seconded the motion, all present voted aye, and Councilmember Smythe abstained because she hadn't been here.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay. What about Brittany to come and just tell us a little bit about yourself? You saw her, why she come up, I'll just talk about, you saw her resume, really impressed with her community service efforts in that. Also got a recommendation from her stepdaughter, and if a stepdaughter is going to recommend a stepmother, from what I've seen on TV and Disney movies, that is a huge recommendation. So she told me how smart she was, how well-spoken she is, how well educated, how she follows these kinds of things, and so that was the clincher right there, so.
Well, I have to give a push that I absolutely hate the way Disney represents all stepmoms in the history of all movies ever. So anyways, I do appreciate that Bella did that. Thank you for the little introduction. My name is Brittany Rocha. Kind of as Mayor Porter already said, I have been a huge proponent of community service over the last 10 years. However, noticed much of the community service that I was doing happened to be in Ogden City rather than South Ogden. But I have been a resident of South Ogden City for 10 plus years and wanted to change that. Didn't know why I was spending so much time over in Ogden City when we have such a great city here. So, you know, my daughter, you know, did a quick little recommendation when Mayor Porter said there was an opening. She said, hey, I know just the person that would probably be interested. And so here I am. I'm very excited to help serve the community of South Ogden and get to know both the community and the city a little bit better.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
absolutely.
Mayor, I'm impressed with her civic engagement.
Yeah.
I think there's a long list of the Nature Center, Youth, Junior League of Ogden, United Way, all those add a benefit to our city here in South Ogden.
Yeah,
So-
you know, I'd say we can teach people what they're on the planning commission, but to find someone that likes the city, cares about the city, has that kind of mentality of service, that's the part that's harder to teach, and so that's what we look for. So, okay, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, with that, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with that one change on page 39 of the minutes.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. All right, our first discussion and action item is consideration of ordinance 25-06, approving amendments to our South Island City Code, have to do with planning commissioner procedures, defining a quorum, and allowing the chair to vote on all items. Summer Palmer, Assistant City Manager, please.
I think we've talked about this at least once in here previously. You've now been able to see the proposed language for the change, just as a way to update those in attendance. Up till now, the Planning Commission Chair and Vice Chair, whoever is administering the meeting or presiding over the meeting, is not eligible to vote in the meeting. And that has been something that's happened here in South Ogden, but it's not the way planning commissions around us work. And in those planning commissions, and in order to bring our planning commission more in line with those, we've proposed this change allowing those, the chair or vice chair, to vote on all items that are before them. And I think this will be a good change for our body as well. Everybody's busy. Sometimes it's hard to get a full commission. I don't think that's happened yet this year. So I think this will really give the residents an additional voice when it comes to voting for things in those planning commission meetings that we haven't had in the past. So it's our recommendation that this is approved. The planning commission saw this before them in the last meeting, and they approved it, and that's why it's before you now. Any questions?
When does this take place if we pass this?
I assume it would happen in our next meeting, which should have been this week, but is not because Alika's out of the office at a conference this week, so it will be in June.
Okay.
Thanks.
Councilmember Stewart?
Just a note on the ordinance on the dating. Sorry, page 46, the last section, section V, 5, date of effect. We just need to make the two dates agree. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions, discussion? All right, entertain a motion that we adopt or approve ordinance 25-06.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? With that, sorry, should I have said with the date change? Yeah, we're good. Councilmember Stewart? You want me to redo that?
You can add date change, but then you need a second again. Well, no, you need a first and a second.
Entertain a motion that we approve ordinance 25-06 with the date change.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Howard?
Yes.
Councilmember Smythe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
Yes.
Thank you much. Item B, consideration of ordinance 25-07, amending our consolidated fee schedule for waste trailer rental, Bowery rental, and code noncompliance fees. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Before you tonight, we need a decision on our neighborhood dumpsters and our green waste program that we're currently offering. As you see in the report, I kind of gave you the report. Right now, we're at a loss. And I've got some information to give you. If you guys are comfortable with loss, we're good, we can move on. If you're not comfortable with loss, I can give you some information to kind of recoup that. As you see in the analysis, we're paying around $194 on the neighborhood dumpsters. And just to explain how that works, a resident calls, 5 signatures, $100 deposit, Republic Services drops it off. They have it for a few days, and then they pick it up. They're on their way. If everything goes well, we give them that $100 back. So there's no charge to the resident. But it's costing $194. There's other fees that are associated with that. If Republic Services comes to pick it up and there's a car in front, so that's an additional $75 they ding us with. So there's those things. Obviously, our tipping fees have gone up over the years. This program replaced, many years ago, we used to go site door to door and let people bring stuff out to their front porch, and we'd pick, or their front lawn, we'd pick it up, and we'd start at one end of the city, and those people were very unfortunate because we were there first, and by the time we got to the other end of the city, some people were cleaning out their whole house. So that's where this program came from. So depending on which end you were at, you either got really lucky and got your whole truck full, or you didn't get anything out. And then the other ones is your trailers. We're doing the same thing there. In your fee schedule right now, we do have what we call a roll-off. That roll-off is a 2008 truck. It is, you have to drop it in the driveway. It doesn't get used a ton, so we're going to remove that off here regardless, just because it's not utilized a lot. We do have the trailers. They're about an 8 cubic yard, roughly, that we drop in front of their house or in their driveway and let them do it. There's a green waste and there's a mixed waste. Currently, we're charging $45 and $80 with both a $100 deposit. The green waste, and as you can see there, we're getting anywhere from $12 to $106 is what we're averaging on those. And the green waste is like somebody throws in 3 tree limbs because they're huge and there's not a lot of weight, so we don't get charged a lot. Majority of the time, we're on the higher end. We're closer to the $100. That's where the money come out of. So if you add those two together, right now, your garbage fund, just on those two things alone, is taking a hit in between $12,000 to $15,000 on an annual basis. Also, you've added the program where we just did this Saturday, we did the roll-off trailers, the spring cleanup. We've done that the last 3 years. We're averaging $35,000 to $5,000 on that, just on dump fees on there. This weekend was very successful. First weekend, we only had 1 or 2 trailers. This weekend, we had our first trailer out the door by 9 o'clock, which was really good from our end. So you're seeing that go up. I'm assuming that cost is going to go up on us this year also. But if you guys, I've got another paper here I can give you if you'd like to see a proposal for some fees. I do have the Boweries on the back end. That's another one too that I'd like to discuss tonight with you guys. The Boweries right now, we charge $50 for a resident, or $75, sorry, for a resident, $100 for a non-resident, $25 that's back, left clean, if it's left clean. And I can tell you, it's not enough because people come in and They don't even care about their deposit half the time. They just come in, use the thing, because it's a fairly cheap thing. They've got it all day long. It's causes quite a headache with people around coming and going, the reservations. We do about 45 a year there, which is an annual, we get about 22,250. And then one other thing I do need to add on there, I talked with Lisa, as I was looking through this, each time I look at this fee schedule, I need to add something else. We need to add in the public works side, there's an excavation permit, a right-of-way storm permit. We also need to add a floodplain permit. So when somebody develops, and it's $100, the other two are $75, the floodplain permit will be $100. It's a little more intense. You got to compare the property with all the FEMA maps and everything to get that to them so they can build and do whatever they need.
We're not looking to add that part tonight, though, right?
Yes, if we could. Yes. Yes. But there's those things, and I don't, if you guys want to change things, I'll give you a paper. If you're comfortable with what we're doing, we'll move forward with what we're doing.
Mayor.
Councilmember Stewart.
So I understand that it's costing the city. I guess the one question that I would ask back is, what is the return that we're getting? If the concern is that people aren't cleaning up their properties, do we want to encourage them to clean up their properties, or do we want to discourage them? And if we're trying to encourage it, maybe it's worth a little bit of cost to the city.
That's the question for you guys. I just seen the numbers, and I just want you aware that you're taking close to $15,000 to $20,000 hit to your budget with the garbage there. We haven't seen an increase in it for a while. I'm good either way, to be honest with you. The one we're going to go, well, it'll be available tomorrow. We've held off to this point, so we're going to start doing it tomorrow, renting them out. Same with the Boweries, if you guys want to change anything there, or if you're comfortable with those fees.
So John, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you refund back to the resident the $100 for the dumpster, is that correct?
Correct.
What happens if you'd only refund back half that, say $50 instead of the $100?
They usually get mad. What you're having with the dumpsters too, you're getting your house flippers coming in. They're coming in and renting this dumpster for $100. It's a lot cheaper for, they take the $100 and they're on their way instead of paying. For an annual, if you were to rent one of those dumpsters, it's $350 plus the dump fee.
Okay.
So
Per day or per rental?
Per rental. So, and that's one.
From a
of the
private
things-
company.
What's that?
From a private company, that's
Private
what it's
company.
from.
If you call Republic Services, they're going to charge you $350 to drop that off. The house flippers know they can come to us because they own the house. They get the 5 neighbors, drop it off in front of the house. They forfeit their $100 deposit, and we're on our way. You're getting your HOAs, or they're renting 3 to 4 of them 2 times a year to do it, because it's a lot cheaper that way for them instead of assessing that fee to the HOA. And we're picking up that fee also. So there's a lot of dynamics going on. I understand, if it's something you want to provide for the city, that I'm totally fine. I'm not sold one way or the other, to be honest with you. I mean, we're going to move forward with the program whether we charge this fee or not, It's just a matter if you guys wanted to recoup some or not on there.
I appreciate that information.
I have another question about the Bowery. Suppose you said we refund $25 for residents and the $25 for non-residents. What happens if we just did not refund the $25? How does that affect it?
It give you an extra $25 per rental is what it would do.
Would that leave it any cleaner or worse?
I don't think so.
Would they leave it worse because
At least
they
they're
have to clean up?
They don't care. I mean, if you rent, unfortunately, I had to pay for a wedding last year. I'd be all over this $50, $75 thing.
What happens if we increase the resident to 75 and a non-resident to, say, 150?
I could show you just this. I'll just show you this. There's something on the back. This is just some fees we just threw together. If you guys are interested, it shows you your current fee, a proposed fee potentially. You're not making all your money back, but you are recouping some of your costs. And mind you, this does not include labor. It does not include any labor. Our guys dropping or doing anything off there. This is strictly material. Whether they're it's just the dump fee in itself. So if you look like at the first one, the 30-yard, we're charging right now, we're getting charged $194. You're going to require the 5 signatures. We currently get the $100 deposit. We want to go to a $250 fee and give them $125 back, and $125 for use. That's $25 per resident that's on that signature thing right there. It's $50 to begin with, and it's $25 when they use the dumpster, was the logic behind the $250. You go to the mixed waste, you're 53 on both of those is kind of the average cost in between those. The mixed waste, you're obviously a lot more, your material weighs a lot more. That's your current fee's 80. Proposed fee would go to 100, and you get a refund of 100, and then it's going to charge them $100, so you're going up $20. The next one, green waste, you're paying 45. Your proposed or current fee's 45 plus the 100, so you're 145. It's going to go up $5. They're going to get $100 back, and it's going to charge them $50. And we'd like to propose that you do it one time a year too, so the residents aren't doing it 3-4 times a year, which some of them do. If they want to do it more than once, they could do the mixed waste with the green trailer. They can do those as many times as they'd like.
Councilmember Howe?
John, when I had a funeral service that we did at the Botanical Gardens in Ogden, and I seem to remember their deposit was $150, and it was refundable. Do you feel that would make it, if we increased the deposit amount and kept the fee less expensive, would that increase your cleanup efforts? Because I know when we left that place, it was
Definitely.
pretty spotless.
You're holding them more accountable in that respect. They've got to clean it up if they want
And
something.
I think I have a real problem with city fees. Like, the city services, and as a council member, obviously, I want to make sure that it's balanced.
Right.
I don't want to put the city in a deficit any more than any of our residents don't want any more taxes or anything. But I would rather increase a refundable deposit. Now, the other side of that is it creates more work for whoever's taking the credit card processing or whatever. So I think I'm okay. I would be okay increasing the Bowery rentals. Maybe a small increase in the rental, but a bigger increase in the refundable deposit. And I'm really kind of on the fence with the dumpster thing. I think that's a service that we provide for our residents, and I don't know if increasing that 150% off of our current fee. Granted, they get half of that back, but I'd really rather not increase those fees and work on the Bowery stuff. That's just my opinion.
I'm looking at the Bowery. We do have some nice Boweries, and it is convenient. I would go to our Bowery fees of $200 and keep the refundable at $75 for residents, and for the non-resident, go $250 and keep it at $75. What would that do in that aspect there? Does that still give them the responsibility of cleaning it up?
What you're doing is you're holding them responsible on that, the fee to get the clean fee, their returnable deposit. The one thing I do need added tonight is a floodplain permit at $100, if you're okay with
We'll get to that.
that. Okay.
There's a lot here, some different viewpoints, but we're looking to, our date we've announced to start people renting is tomorrow, though, right?
Correct.
So it would be good to have these in place before tomorrow, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, we've held off specifically for this to make sure we cover what we're doing for the season. I didn't want to do it midstream, have somebody come in and rent a dumpster for
Right.
free, and then
That's-
2 weeks they come back and, hey, sorry, you're paying $300 now.
Otherwise, we'd probably table this
Yeah.
until we look at it more, but.
I think there's some value there of limiting them to how many times they can use the dumpster. Because someone can do it almost every week, and that increases our cost. I
Correct.
think if you have an opportunity to use it once
Okay.
in a calendar year, then whatever, from say June to June, in that aspect, or from May to May, or whatever, if you want to go with the original from January to December. But
Yep.
I think one use throughout the year, of course, then you'd have to verify that, make sure that dumpster's not being duplicated at the
That's fairly
same
easy to
time.
do because it's dropped off at an address.
Oh, is
So,
it?
Yeah, we drop it right
Okay.
off an address, so it's fairly easy to follow. And they really have two shots. They'd have the one in the springtime,
Yeah.
you know, that we just did Saturday. It's not necessarily dropped off, they've got to get it to the site, but then they could also have the dumpster dropped off in front of their house. And maybe this year, we move forward with just the one time and leave the fees as is. And then I bring it to you earlier next fall, or, next winter months, and you guys debate on it then and see where we got this year, is an option also. Mayor, council?
I have a request.
Please.
If you decide to do just only one per year, that you specify, is that one per property or one per person? So that, because like you have multiple people at one property, it could be they could rent it twice or.
Would you like
three.
one per address, one per signature?
Yeah, one. How the signature works, the individual that signs it up is responsible for that deposit. That would be their only time they would be able to rent it. So it would be where it's their address.
Would you like it then once per address?
Yeah, per address, yep.
But if you have 5, they could,
The neighbor next door, yeah, he could
Seven.
I could move the house
Yeah.
down, exactly, yeah, so, but we're at least, they're gonna have to get somewhat creative to get it there twice, and they'll figure that out,
They'll have to talk to their neighbors, which isn't all bad.
yeah.
Councilmember Howard, you done your calculations yet? We have a
Yeah,
proposal.
I
from
think
the
so.
West side.
Yeah. I do like the one per use thing, especially on the dumpster. However, I think on the green waste trailers, we tend to get multiple cleaning cycles with that. So I think, here's what I propose, and nod or disagree or whatever. I think that the dumpster should be a one-time per use. I also think that it's, you could do a $150 deposit, but it's 100% refundable still. Mixed waste, and that would be one per year. Mixed waste is twice per year. Also at a $150 deposit with zero charge, and the green waste would be a $100 deposit twice per year with zero charge.
So we make no money on the,
Correct, on the
city
dumpsters.
gets no money on the dumpsters.
Correct. I think that's a service to the citizens. I really don't, I think Boweries are one thing where we go out and we're cleaning those. If we end up keeping a deposit because they've either damaged a trailer or left it dirty or whatever, then we keep that deposit. But for the Boweries, I think we ought to significantly increase the deposit on them. And I'd be okay with $100 for residents and $150 for non-residents. As a deposit, and I'm okay with your fee schedule the way it is too, on those.
On those, giving them 75 back.
John, are we charged for, when we empty these, when we take them to the dump, we're charged extra, aren't we?
We are.
Because I just had to pay $25 for a small mattress to go.
Yeah.
So,
So that, in that
I-
194 on that is a delivery fee,
yeah.
that is a dump fee, and then a pickup fee
I think we do.
there.
If,
So-
if you wanted to leave it the same, I mean, you could go with, I don't know, I just think it's a residential service. I think green waste should be zero. We can dump those because they're fairly light, we're not losing a ton on those.
They're green waste, like I say, they're
If you
very,
wanted to do, I don't know, maybe $50 on the dump, on the mixed use and $100 on the dump, I'd probably be okay with that, but I just don't think
That's about
250 is a.
what's on here.
And I don't think these are out of line, actually, what you proposed here, John. I really don't. I know that people get upset when they charge for anything, but, we've got to be reasonable about what it costs the city, and you've got all these people that have to do all this work, and we have to pay for all that somehow. So if we don't pay for it on this end, we're going to have to pay for it on another end.
I like on the Bowery that we increase the residents of a rental fee of $200 and the non-residents of $250.
That's steep.
You can keep the 75 refundable if it's cleaned. If it's not, then they don't get the $75. But
Right,
but I think the Bowery is a real bonus of living here in South Ogden. And it should be kept up well.
Mayor, to Councilmember Smythe's point, I understand that we're paying $194 right now, but we've been paying $194 for a long
I
time.
bet you that's gonna go up.
It's been going up probably 15, 20 bucks a year.
Right.
With-
But
with
the
your
city's,
gas, with
but the
your-
city's been responsible for it.
Correct, yeah,
Right.
exactly, yeah.
So now we're dumping a service to our residents, no pun intended, back to them, and I think it should be proportional. I don't think we should do it 100%. I think that's a service of the city.
But like I say, I'm good either way. If you want, like I say, the 30-yard, if you guys want to keep it, I'm totally fine. If you want to charge a fee, like I say, from our end, nothing's going to change.
Right now, we don't
As far as the
charge.
service, it's just a matter of if you want to collect, the only thing that would change is if we collect money or not.
And we've lost money.
Yeah, you're losing money with every one of them at this point. Even if you look at your Boweries.
I think we ought to at least try to get to break even.
And I'd like I say, break even, I don't know, none of these are going to break even. Because like say, you're on your 30-yard, your 125 is what you're going to get, and that's $25 per resident that's rented that thing. You're still short yourself $60, but like I say, if you don't want to charge it, that's completely fine, too. There.
I am not hearing consensus, or at least three, as your leader. I would propose that we keep it as it is for this year, as it has been on the dumpsters, till we can give this more study and discussion. And then we change the Bowery part to John's recommendation on this sheet.
And the floodplain?
And then we'll approve the floodplain thing. Is that, am I out?
What about the
Feel
one-time
free to
use,
disagree with me.
Mayor?
We'll add the one-time per
One-time use.
address per calendar year.
You want one time all the way across? I know Councilmember Howe suggested 2 on the trailers, or do you want to let them unlimited on the trailers? You guys have a preference there on the trailers?
I think one time's too few.
Okay.
2 would be good. I don't think unlimited is a great idea.
Okay.
Is that one on all, or
1 on the dumpster, 2 on the trailers.
one on the?
That's
oh,
what, yeah, that's what Councilmember Howe asked.
Well, I still think we ought to increase the fee to the Bowery.
This is an increase, though, right? Already, John, the
Yes.
back of your, this
Yeah.
is an increase. on
Yeah,
the-
it used to be
proposal.
$75, and they'd get 25 of that back, and now you're going to 150, and they're going to get 75 back.
Yeah, you're tripling the refundable deposit.
Yeah. Yep.
And good incentive to
But, yeah,
help them
just
keep
get
it clean.
incentive. And your fee, really, your rental fee only went up $25
Councilmember
there.
Howe,
Okay.
you good with that? Okay. So if I, correct me if this isn't correct, but entertain a motion that we maintain the roll-off and trailer fees as they are currently, with a restriction of once per year per address for the roll-off and twice per year, calendar year per address for the trailers. We increase the Bowery fee to, this is on this paper, $150 fee with $75 refundable for a resident, $200 fee with $75 refundable if left clean by a non-resident, and we add a $100 floodplain permit.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, this too is a roll call vote. Councilmember Howe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Smythe?
No.
Councilmember Howard?
Yes.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, John. Don't go far.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Item C, consideration of resolution 25-07, approval of the 2024 Municipal Wastewater Planning Program Report.
All right. Favorite time of year. This is, shiz happens right here, Mayor, Council. This is your annual wastewater programming report. that we have to bring to you. It's obviously 2024's report. If you go through it, it tells you we have roughly 3,667 connections, about 55 miles of sewer line that we maintain. It kind of basically just is asking the condition of our system, how we maintain it, how we move forward with it, and what we do. With that being said, in there's two different, and I always get it confused, there's two different stages of backups. The one which we don't like to see, we did have one, and it was at a daycare that the flushable wipes come out and got caught on in our manhole. The pipe was stubbed out, and the flushable wipes got caught on there and backed up into a couple of apartments out off Wasatch Drive. That has since been taken care of. We come in, cleaned it out, cut it out, so it will no longer, well, I can't guarantee it won't back up, but the problem from the last time, it won't happen. But this is a report. It's been filed with the Division of Environmental Quality. It needs to come before you guys to confirm that you understand that our sewer system is functional and doing everything we should. So the manholes are inspected annually. There's like 480-something manholes we go through, starting usually in March, make sure everything's flowable. You have a sewer program in place. It takes about 3 years for us to go through the whole city and flush everything out. And along doing that, we do find trouble spots that have occurred over the last year, 2 years, and we address those as they become known to us. So do you have any questions?
So this is mandated by the state, right, to send the
Correct.
Department of Environmental Quality
Correct.
this report every year? Okay.
Yep, you see it every year. And usually, since I've been doing this, it's come first due in January. Now it's April through May, so you never know with them. They just send it out. And now, like the way you see it, it comes in a Google Doc. It's not the most friendly thing to work with, but that's why it is the way you see it. So.
Any questions on this? Councilmember Stewart?
I had a question. I was trying to find the question so I could read how it says, but it's a question about videoing the line.
Okay.
Do you have any idea where that question is?
I could not answer that. I know it's in here.
Okay, just a minute. I'll
What's your
find it.
question about video? The only time, well, go ahead.
Said that we do not routinely do that, or we don't get it all done within a 5-year time period or something. So do we video, and if so, how often and how extensive?
The video is only done at this point when we come across a problem. So it is, our program, we clean the lines and have been fairly confident that the lines are functional every 3 years. And then if we come across anything, and the guys that do it for us, Twin D that does it for us, when they find a problem, then we go back through a video and make sure everything's taken care of there. If there's any problems, I could tell you this year they found a problem. Somebody had relined their sewer, and they ran the sewer down into our main line. About 80 feet down into ours, their sewer stubbed into ours. So those are the things we come across, and those are things like we'll video and find what's going on. So your program on the 3 years, we're fairly confident that seems, that we catch those problems. So did that answer your question?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, we don't video on a regular basis, only trouble.
This survey was quite interesting, though.
Paperwork.
I got some videos to go with it if you're ever bored.
Guys could just go to work, not have to do paperwork. We don't want a camera anymore. Okay. All right, then, no other comments. Let's entertain a motion. We approve Resolution 25-07, approval of the Municipal Wastewater Planning Program Report.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Take your pick. There's lots of noise. Any further discussion? All right. Councilmember Stevens.
Yes.
Councilmember Smythe.
Yes.
Councilmember Stewart.
Yes.
Councilmember Howard.
Yes.
Councilmember Howe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Good work on that. Consideration of Resolution 25-08, adopting the fiscal year 2025 tentative budget. Peter, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and members of the council. Appreciate the preceding time that we've had to work on the 2026 budget in the preceding hour here. And so when the minutes are posted for this meeting, it will also include an overview of the budget timeline for the 2026 budget process. So the key dates, of course, are tonight, we're statutorily required to adopt a tentative budget. Then by the end of June, we need to adopt the CDRA budget. And at this time, the council has chosen to move forward with truth in taxation. So we'll have a public hearing on August the 5th, and then the public will have a little more time to digest what was discussed there in the hearing, and then we'll finally adopt it on August the 19th. And I'm encouraged by the advantages of this approach. Certainly, we'll have more time. We'll have property tax data from the county, of course, but really, as this governing body makes this initial decision, this really gets our budget season off to a start. It really is a starting point, the tentative budget. And certainly we'll have many more discussions, probably more than some of you want, about details in the budget, but the details really are important. So the finance department really is responsible for putting together the budget and making sure that it fairly represents our collective work. So I'm really grateful for the staff we have here at the city, the division directors who we're communicating with on many of these issues, that they just have this finite detail about that I'm frankly still learning and putting into a quantified manner that we can act upon. So I appreciate your consideration at this time in adopting the 2026 tentative budget.
Comments? And for the public's sake, we had a work session on this. The council has had this to review. It will be available, online. The council has had a chance to talk about most of these things. Other comments, Councilmember Stewart? Some of these things. Did I misspeak?
I had a couple of questions, but I probably will just ask Peter, because I don't know how to go. I'll ask him when
Okay.
Thanks.
I was say by state law, we have to approve a tentative budget tonight, but there'll be many changes going forward as we get into the details. Is there a motion then that we approve Resolution 25-08?
So moved.
Anyone want to second that instead?
Second. Was there?
Yeah, I think you both said at the same time. All right, motion second for the discussion. All right, Councilmember Howe,
Yes.
Councilmember Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Stewart,
Yes.
Councilmember Smythe,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens.
Yes.
Thank you. Item E, consideration of Resolution 25-09, approving an agreement with Black Ridge Concrete for Station 81 concrete project. Mr. Anderson.
So can I
You bet.
Introduce.
So originally, we told John that he did not have to bring this before the council because of the changes we made in the purchasing policy. But upon further reflection, we told him that he did, and we just kind of put it on there last minute, so,
We got it.
sorry, John.
We got it.
Okay.
We got it. So just to let you know, we started this about 1st of April. I was going to put it on the 1st of April council meeting. I said, oh, you're all right, John. So anyway, here we are tonight. So the proposal before you, in this year's budget, there's been some upgrades to City Hall. We painted carpet, odds and ends. One of the things we still need to do is replacement concrete here at Station 81. It's not a full tear out and repair. It's various areas, the bad areas that are cracked and everything from pretty much from I think when the building was built, they only did a lot of 4-inch. They didn't do much 6-inch concrete. Didn't realize the weight of the truck. We didn't have the ladder truck at that point in time. So obviously you're seeing that wear and tear on that stuff, and it's long overdue. The trucks of even our storm drain back there doesn't work correctly, and that's what this bid will do. We sought out. We had 3 contractors that have done work for us in the past give us bids on this. One being Hogan. second being Overland Homes, and the third one being the Black Ridge. And the bids ranged. We gave them a specific, said, hey, this is what you need to replace. And you're replaced in between 8 and 10,000 square feet of concrete is what you're getting. And the prices go from $45,000 up to $57,000. And these guys will come in, obviously we'll coordinate with the fire department. We'll probably do like the front end first, so they still have access to the back, or vice versa, do the back so they can get into the front. But we'll do some coordination with them and get these guys in here, and want to get them in here and out of here before the new truck comes, so. But do you have any questions for that?
Can you tell us a little bit about Black Ridge? I don't know anything about the company.
They're a company out of Morgan, Utah, that I can't remember, they worked for another guy. They've gone on their own the last few years, and they've come in and done some spot stuff for us over the years, the last few years. And this is the first time we've awarded Black Ridge specifically a contract, but the guys that are working there, we know and have done work for the city over the years.
Okay.
Thank you, John. Entertained motion that we approve Resolution 25-09.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, I'll start roll call vote. Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Howard?
Yes.
Councilmember Smythe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
Yes.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
One of our discussion items tonight is our new website. Let's invite Danielle to come and talk to us about that. I did find a typo. There was a word spelled wrong. I was so happy I found it before Councilmember Stewart did. And Danielle informs me that it was a copy and paste from the previous website. So it had been the administration spelled wrong for years. But I found it.
I'm trying to get it to connect to this. While it's waiting, hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at the new site. I'm just going to show you some comparisons with the old site just so you can see a couple things. I will encourage everybody to look at it on both the desktop and then your phone because the user experience is a little bit different on each. I don't know why it's not. It says make sure device is turned on.
Let's add that to next year's budget.
Well, I did it earlier and I didn't have to
Fight
touch
this
too
every
much
week.
else. I just had to- Yeah, I had just turned it on.
We fight this every meeting.
Yep.
Can you plug in just HDMI?
I don't record or anything. I was down here at 3:55 and it worked just fine, so.
Everybody's better in the JV game than the varsity game. Well, it's a different game. 7 o'clock, isn't it?
I'm going to the old site.
Lights are on.
Can you access it through my, if I can connect my,
Yes, if I send you the,
if I can just, yeah, I can just see if I can connect this and then let you use this.
I just have to send an email because it's a link that's not live.
I'm sure the mayor's got some jokes.
Turn it on and off, let's restart.
IT 101, reboot.
Right? Reboot.
No, so I'm not giving them any advice. I know my place. IT is not it.
I'm just gonna stop trying things in advance and just maybe it would have worked if I hadn't tried it before. It's a great time. You can get on your devices and look at the website in this moment too, if need be. On the new one. Right?
No, I still not gonna. It's funny.
No bad jokes or anything?
We're talking jelly bellies up here, so.
Oh.
So, Mayor, you certainly could move forward.
Yeah, that's what I was just
into
thinking.
Yeah.
If this-
Council reports.
Yeah, let's go on to reports, direction to the city manager. We'll start, Councilmember Stevens, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to commend Donnell. This summer, we're going to have the Shakespeare series, and it's in our email, but there are 3 dates that they're going to have this. They're using the Nature Park and also Friendship Park, and another one back to Friendship Park. So that's another opportunity that we can actually benefit not only those who live here, but visit South Ogden. So I want to commend Donnell for going ahead and setting that up.
And
that's
thanks, sir. Those are free, and they're the second Tuesday of June, July, and August.
Yep, it says bring your chair or your blanket
Yep.
and you be there, but it's a great use of our parks. The other aspect there is I went to the league meetings there in St. George, and it was probably one of the most informational aspects meetings that we had there. They talked about revenues that the city can look at and possibly be losing, but also talked about our budget and how important the budget is. And today we talked about the tentative budget. The budget is very important not only to us as council members, but also to the city. It gives us an opportunity to actually use our revenue that comes into the city in a wise manner, but also to provide the services for our citizens. And so the budget is an intriguing part of our city, and it's one that we can do each and every year. The other aspect is last week we talked about the enforcement on 40th Street, that intersection up there. Do we have any reports on that, Mayor, of how that process is actually happening? Are we looking at the crossing guard to provide more opportunities there for our crossing guard?
City Manager Dixon will address that in his report.
Yeah, although I was out of town when you had that meeting, it was.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the direction to staff was to have our engineer move forward in the design of a traffic light at 40th and Madison, and so it's being designed and with the expectation that it would be constructed prior to the school being back in session in the fall.
Are we having any enforcement up there on, I noticed there were some situations where the people weren't adhering to the
That's the one
intersection
by
up there.
Birch Creek Park. Oh, is that the one?
40th and Madison.
Yeah. I'll ask John about that. We'll get your report on that.
Okay.
Do you know? You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, you make sure you get it to me.
Thank you. Councilmember Smythe.
I just want to commend the staff for working on the budget and giving us the information for the compensation. That was a lot of work, and I appreciate your knowledge and your expertise there. Helps us make our decisions.
Thank you. Councilmember Stewart. Councilmember Stewart, please.
Okay, I just had a question for Matt. This is directed to Matt, but he's talking, so I'm waiting so he can hear me.
Well, I was trying to multitask too and figure out who our main speaker was in St. George.
Okay, so I received an email from the Northern Utah Flood Risk Study people. It's a FEMA flood mapping newsletter. And there was a note in this newsletter, like this is a multi-year project. I don't know if you remember, we had a meeting about 9 months ago. Anyway, so in the newsletter, it says, is this newsletter going to the right person? Are there others who need to see this? If if there a change in your organization, or can you think of someone we need to add or remove from our list, please contact. And so I just want to make sure that we've got somebody from John's department that's dealing with this, that's receiving this information, that's going to be able to.
Will you forward that? Is that an email?
It's an email, yeah. Yes, I will. When I got it, I thought, I just need to make sure that, because I read it and it's interesting and that's nice, but I'm not really in charge of anything to do with the floodplain, so that's not my department. Okay, because they are redoing, this is, I think, a 4 or 5 year project, but they're redoing the floodplain, and so they want us to make sure that floodplain maps, I think is, anyway. So they have several things they want us to check into, so I will send it on to you. Thanks. I think that's the only thing for me.
Councilmember Howard.
The only thing I was going to bring up is the conference down in St. George, but I know that you're going to comment on it. And
No, go ahead, man.
I'm always grateful for the opportunity to go down there and to listen to the speakers and kind of pick what classes I want to attend, and in reality, the article for our newsletter that I just did was because of the conference and some of the things that were said, and it's always nice to go down and be able to just focus on the city, but that's it.
Thank you. So even the fire department can't save us? We called the fire department?
Just got to get fire involved.
to blow on it. That's how it works. Clean all the dust off and whatever.
Councilmember Howe, I'll let you go first, though. Finish up this.
Thanks. Yeah, just a couple of comments. One, again, go back to the St. George League Conference. It was the best one I've been to. It was really good. I thought our keynote speaker was awesome, and I took a class on conflict management resolution and realized that I don't need to solve everybody's problems in the world. But it was actually really good because I used it in my Sunday school lesson too. So, and then we had our final meeting of the school year for our South Ogden Youth Council, and just want to commend all those individuals that have participated in that, especially Danielle for taking on some of that responsibility, even though she was hired not to do that job, but she took it on anyway, so it was absolutely awesome. We've got a good youth council. I can't wait to see what applications we get for next school year. We got some great plans for them. They did our Easter party and have expressed some interest in helping out with South Ogden Days, and it just seems like it'd be a good program that we can continue to build on, and a lot of those members hopefully will be coming back. So great program, super grateful for the participation, and we got some good kids in this community, so it's awesome.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Danielle, take us through the website, please.
Thank you for your patience. Sorry about that. As I show you a bunch of new technology. So you guys recognize this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the old site.
That's the old one.
Yes, this is the old one. Here's the front page of the new one. And I'm just going to kind of show you some of the changes based on if you were a user on the old site, just so you can see what we improved on the new one, because you kind of forget unless you've been working on the old one for a very long time, which Lisa and I have. So,
Mostly Danielle.
Take into consideration the majority of people will be looking at this on their phone, and so it looks a little bit different on the desktop. When you open the websites on your phone, a lot of times this is going to be the links that you click up here, not the scroll down. It's going to be these main things. And so our old site, if you were to click on government, the first thing that came up was all the administration contacts. And then there was this little government section over here for mayor and city council. So that was something that happened on quite a few of the pages. Whoops. And there's not easy ways to go. I wish I have a mouse. Same thing with department. If you clicked on department, you have this great picture of the boat and the water over there. And And then there would just be this little list down here, like, oh, great, let's go to Parks and Rec and see what happens. And it only came up to the rec page. So if you went to departments, there was like no way to find parks unless you did some really good searching. And so with the new site, trying to make everything a little bit more user-friendly, only to have a couple clicks. If you go to government and you click on this front part, there's all of you guys, some education. I took a lot of stuff that was in the actual new residence guide and just put that on the website because it's already there. And so here's information on elected officials, a little history of South Ogden. There's nothing on the old site for that. And then links to get to everything else. Same with departments. It takes you to a little bit more information.
Councilmember Howard would like his picture a little bigger there, he said.
On which one? On the front?
Just kidding. I made it up.
Yeah. So those were things, just trying to make it a little bit cleaner, a little more user-friendly. On the old site, if you, in departments, it has like recreation, but in residence, it doesn't. And to me, that's something. So a lot of these main drop-downs were only in one category. We kind of moved them around. Same with like utilities in residence now and in business, because businesses have to pay utilities too. So just trying to function as what's important, what are people actually going to be looking for. On the home page, when you scroll down, we're going to be working on, like, bill pay to me seemed like pretty big, and it was a little bit hidden on the, this is the old, back to the old site. Bill pays over here, but it should be, when you're looking on your phone, the first thing that comes up is meetings and minutes on your phone, because all these bottom ones aren't there. You have to scroll over to them. So we're going to move those around, and we'll have analytics to help with some of that. Scrolling down on the old site, the news and information section, then randomly the departments are all down at the bottom instead of being searchable at the top. Then you have the calendar, news site. I mean, definitely, you can see everything when you click on all these up here. News and information is right there at the top. The city calendar, we've broken it up into 3 areas now. So if you have events and the current things show up here, people can click on meetings, they're here. And I added a recreation tab as well, because I think that's a missed opportunity. So we have when recreation closes and ends, and I'm giving the recreation department the option if they want to put games on there, or maybe it's tournaments and things like that. But I think that's part of building our community, is talking about recreation a little bit more. You can go to the full calendar down here, and it lists everything all at once. So adding those separate tabs, or if you only want to look at meetings, you can click on meeting, but there is a ability to show everything. That's back to old site. So just a little bit more user-friendly. Old site, the I want to, which tends to be like, if you're coming to the website, what are you looking for? The I want to on the old site is down here. So if you wanted to apply for anything or download anything, you had to look over here, and it's a little bit hidden. On the new site, we made it pretty much the first thing. So the majority of stuff that's also included in all these is easily searchable, which we think is great. And we can always add and take away things in these areas. Added a passport section. There wasn't one on the old site. So just lots of little things that will be an ongoing process. There might still be pictures that are in the wrong spot. There was about 3,000 clickable links, and I had to upload a picture for every single one. So if you see a picture that doesn't match the department it's in, there's cats on the animal, the animal thing. But that's if you come over like animal licensing, there's your kitty cats. But I also threw in some dogs and a couple. Yep, the cat was the default on the last one. This one, the default is a park, at least, so it's not the same, but so that helps. Business is another one. The old business section just had a couple little things here, but if you actually clicked on business, which is what somebody would do on their phone, it just listed these 3 little things, and then these 3 things over here. New page, we added a couple more just info about our economic development, things about business in general, just trying to make it look more appealing. Added a couple things over here, utilities. We have our new, so just lots of those little things. The beauty of this one now is we do have our analytics that are all filled out, so we can look at it every month and determine these drop downs that are here, like what are people actually looking at? Like what should be these main things here because people are searching. Again, the old site had meetings and minutes first. Does anybody have an idea of what they think are most searched, like what, since this website's been up, what people have looked at more than anything? Recreation chickens. So it's actually, this is our analytics, our most popular page, animal services. Yep, animal services, but we also just had the Weber County found those 150 dogs. It was very, popular in the news and everybody wanted to know how and where they could go. You can see over here, this is the number of users. So minutes and agenda, 66 people have looked at that in the last couple weeks. It's definitely not, it should be in that prime position. But animal services is big, people always looking for employment. And then this is Place South Ogden is our recreation page. The football just went live, so that's a big one. So this will be a great tool that we can start looking at to see like what do people really want to, what do they care about and what information should we make primary or what should we be talking about and posting.
And you'll be the one that will make those changes, is that, okay?
Yeah, Lisa or I can. So all in all, it's going to be ongoing, but looks better. We do have this little guy down here. This is our ADA accessibility, which is part of requirements that we have to have now on all web pages. That came down through the state, but Lisa and I were smart and we had asked for that like months ago, so it came well before that. So we are compliant. Our new website is officially compliant. I think you have to like 2027 to make your sites fully compliant, but we already are with this little thing right here. So anybody who is visually or hearing impaired can make adjustments to the site. So any questions? I just constantly look through it and send me updates.
Mayor.
Yeah, please.
Danielle, can we, somewhere in here, and I thought we talked about this previously, one of the big projects that we have going on that's going to be kind of coming to fruition pretty soon is our historic trails. Can we
I would
put
love
a
some
spot on there
information
somewhere?
on the heritage trails.
Would you get with
If I
Matt on
can,
that?
yes, yep.
Thanks, Matt. Sorry to roll you under the bus.
There's definitely some things that haven't, like I've been trying to update the old website since August and I have not been successful in updating every single area. So it's definitely an ongoing process, but there is stuff I've reached out to
I think
departments
that,
to
like a
request
map
for.
of South Ogden, not just the planning and zoning map, but just a map of South Ogden with where those markers are going to go and kind of how that trail integrates with that would be a good idea.
I think it's all Friendship Park, right? It's just around-
Yeah, but it's around that Friendship Park Trail.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I
Nope,
think that
yep,
should
and
be
I
on
think
there.
that would go great either in a little history section or under city events, so.
Danielle, will you have pictures of the dogs that we have for adoption or? is that-
Those we don't have on the website. The South Ogden Animal Services Facebook page, they are all over that because it changes every day.
Right.
So on the website itself, it's just
It'd be too
just
much.
general stuff. But there is, you can download the form on adoptions or vaccinations and things like that. So
Can we put our newsletter on the website at
the
all?
newsletter's always been on the website, so you can
Okay.
go in a couple areas. But if you go right under residents, boom, there it is, newsletter, and it lists.
Okay.
Oh, this was the other one that I saw that was upside down. Yeah, out of order.
When they switched over to the new website, the order of things isn't quite orderly.
Yeah. Used to be,
2013
like, yeah, this
before.
should be 2025 up here, so we have to change the descending order. With Guillermo now, here we have our code enforcement or code compliance area with all his info and everything they do. We removed it from the police part. It just has a click to his page and stuff, so. Same with Alika. On the regular pages, the department pages, like planning and zoning, you do have this contact thing up here. So on your phone, these are clickable links, so you can just pull it up and get Alika's number and call her right there or send an email. Those are on the general department pages. Yeah, it's up to her.
Planners,
So the fire department just has their helmet, but yes, but these are all like at least clickable links, so.
Okay.
Yep, yep, and I think that would go great either in a little history section or under city events, so.
Mayor.
Any questions? Yep, yep, and I think that would go great either in a little history section or under city events, so.
All
Anything else?
Okay. We'll let you know as we search and
All
find
right,
things.
please do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
It's a lot of work.
Worked out all right.
To build a webpage.
Mr. Dixon, your report.
I was going to try to connect, but we probably should give that up. 911.
Someone call 911. Oh, yes. Oh, I don't remember by that name. Thank you. Good.
I miss the agenda Friday. You won.
Are you disconnecting? You did? Okay, let me see. All right, let's see.
Literacy, wonder.
It's going to be a real letdown after this big buildup, like.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple items, Mayor, to go through really quick. I did want to also express appreciation to Peter and the department heads on the budget. We are a small community still, but when you consider total funds, we're probably around $40 million. There's a lot that comes in and goes out, and to spend the time to get the budget, again, we're far from complete, but to get it to this point, it's been a lot of work, and then Summer, of course, with the work she's doing with our compensation and wages information's been awesome. Also wanted to express appreciation to Danielle and Jeremy and former council member Brent Strait with the South Ogden Youth Council, as well as Mayor Porter. City had a youth council years ago, got away from it for several years, and for a few years we've been wanting to get that going again, and it was exciting. This was our first year. We learned a lot again, but grateful for the youth that stepped up and wanted to come out and be involved. And so spread the word. We're accepting applications for interest for next year. It's a great experience. They get to go to the Capitol, meet with legislators. They go up to Utah State University to a leadership conference, and they serve in community events. The Easter egg extravaganza was all, that's their big project. Yes, Danielle does a lot as well, but just a great opportunity, great things to put on resumes. Wanted to cover that. Also, had a meeting with UDOT. They are getting ready to do a pavement reconstruction project on Harrison from 89 to 12th Street. It's going to go all summer. Fortunately, the portion in South Ogden is not too large. But they said it's going to be slow going, so they're just going to, but they're starting at our end in South Ogden. They're going to do the work at night, so we've made them aware that they need to come get an exception to the noise ordinance. For obvious reasons, that's such a busy corridor. To try and shut it down during the day to do work is pretty crazy. Anyway, there'll be marketing and information coming from UDOT to Danielle and others in the city to put out to try to communicate that. We've also provided them our emergency services contacts, so they're aware for dispatch if there's emergency calls. All right, the last thing I wanted to bring up. In 2013, I put this together and sent this to the Young Automotive Group. 2013. That's seems like forever ago. This Friday at noon is the ribbon cutting of the new In my notes, I used to always call it the Megaroo. So, Friday at noon, elected officials, you're certainly invited to come and show support. We'll also invite any staff who are available. Sometimes it's fun to have some firefighters show up at those things, police officers if they're on duty and not on a call. So that's right, in case the tech stops working. So anyway, just it's been a long time coming. It's been exciting to see the expansion of young automotive in the city, and Friday's a little bit of a celebration to have them here and the good work that they're doing, and they're huge community supporters, right? They're our major sponsor of South Ogden Days, and they really do pride themselves in being community oriented, and we've found them to be great partners. Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. My report on St. George was also one of the better ones that I've been to over the years. They had Arthur Brooks, a pretty famous speaker and author, come and talk to us on how to communicate effectively, particularly with people that think differently than you do or than we do. And that was great. Could listen to him for hours. One of my breakouts was some of the do's and don'ts of a council meeting, including some of the First Amendment things with public comment and do's and don'ts there. There was also a breakout where it was the mayors on a panel from some different cities throughout the state. But overall, I thought it was excellent. We had some good discussions as a group from the city as well over some meals, and so glad we were able to have an opportunity to go do that. Will you please work with me on a future work session to talk about WFL, FL, Ute League, Little League football, please, in the near future. UCD Council has been mentioned. I will make a push these last couple weeks of school. I'll go into some of the sophomore classes, and then I will find a way to go to some of the South Ogden Junior High 9th grade classes as well, and make a push for future UCD Council members as well. Last Tuesday morning, Mr. Dixon and I and Alika met with the CEO and 2 other top leaders of Benenson Group out of New York. They're the ones that own the 8 acres that Big Lots and Sabres and that ugly parking lot sit on. And so we had a great discussion with them, and they are definitely open to some changes there, some improvement there, and some redevelopment. So these things take time. They've been in business for 100+ years, not by rushing into things. But it was a very productive meeting, and we'll have future meetings, and they were really pleased that we met with them and some of our ideas, how they meshed with their business plan and their ideas as well. Would you add to that, on anything on that meeting? Okay.
No, I don't think so. Speak of things long coming, right? We've been, that's been on our radar for a lot of years, and the timing is just worked out to where they're kind of ready, and that is a key focus for us and has been for many years. We figure that will help start the redevelopment of this area, as it's just older commercial, right? And so having some new investment and some new development there could be a really positive thing.
Yeah. So very good meeting. Thanks for arranging that. And then Monday the 12th at Friendship Park through Bonneville Communities That Care is something called a Wonder Literacy Challenge. I know Councilmember Howe, Councilmember Stevens have offered to come and man the South Ogden table that night. Danielle will have some things there for you, and we'll talk a little more about that before Monday. But yeah, if you guys plan on being there by 6, that would be great. Danielle and I had before we just found out about that, we had just made arrangements to go to a business spotlight video. So that won't take the full time, but see you there at the end. But thanks for volunteering for that. And I believe that is all I have. So appreciate everybody's attendance tonight, everybody's hard work, and entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome.